if you don't, then just believe.
It's fun. It's so fun to sing. That's a good karaoke song.
Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Jan.
That's Chris.
And welcome to CCTV, the non-stop pop show.
And today we will be reviewing Kelly Clarkson's second studio album, Breakaway. If you're wondering who we are, Chris and I have a huge range of experience in the music industry, from performing on stage to working at record labels, so we have a lot of insight into this crazy industry. And if you'd like to join us on these topics, you can join us now on Patreon. So come join the CCTV crew at patreon.com/CCTVpops, and shout out to our crew members, Lisette, Lily, and Emily.
Woo! Yes. So today we are talking about Kelly Clarkson, who I love. So yeah, I've been a fan of her since I was a kid. Like from like the beginning, really. And she's really up there for me with my favorite artists ever. I think I've seen her live the most, I think, out of any artist. I've been to almost every tour. And been to like talk show tapings and stuff like that as well. So yeah, I just think she's one of the best and most versatile vocalists of our generation. And the back catalog is super solid. So yeah, I'm excited to finally do a show about her. How about you?
You know what? You talk about her quite frequently, and we've actually done a couple of reactions here on the channel to her performances. And every time I sit there like halfway getting ready to cry because A, I can't sing like that, and B, I don't know how she can sing like that. So she's really good. And yeah, I think when we were talking about like who we wanted to talk about next, I was like, yeah, let's go for Kelly, because I wanted to listen to her. And interestingly enough, I didn't realize how many of the songs on this album that I actually knew, and it blows my mind how I came in contact with her music, which we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, I agree with you. I think she's one of those artists that don't get as much credit as I believe she deserves. And people cite vocalists, she needs to be up there for you. And if she's not, I'm questioning it. You know what I'm saying? Because even now I'm listening to her and I'm like, oh my God, because my vocal coach used to reference her a lot. She's a great vocalist, great songwriter as well. So she's she's everything that we would want in a pop star and in our first American Idol. I mean, she is the American Idol.
The one, yes.
Yeah, she deserves it through and through. So I'm excited to do it about her too.
Yeah, so today we're talking about her second album, Breakaway, which was released in November 2004, and this was her second studio album, and it was executive produced by Mr. Clive Davis, which we'll talk more about him later. But so during this time, she was still in a phase of her career where she was dismissed for winning, a quote-unquote dumb reality show. And this album and its singles catapulted Kelly into stardom and critical acclaim. And so for the sound of the album, she moved more towards this kind of pop rock sound as opposed to the kind of more soulful bluesy kind of thing that was going on with the first album. And it eventually became one of the best-selling albums of the 21st century all over the world. And it also won the Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Album in 2005, among many other awards, again, all across the world. So we will now go track by track and discuss the production, vocals, and lyrics and give our ratings for each song. So here we go. Track by track.
The first track on this album is Breakaway, written by Matthew Gerard, Bridget Benenate, Avril Lavigne, and produced by John Shanks. Originally written for Avril's first album, the song was eventually given to Kelly and used for the soundtrack of Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement, which was co-produced by Whitney Houston. With lyrics about moving away from home and leaving your old life behind, the song was extremely successful worldwide and is still Kelly's longest-running #1 in her career on the Billboard AC Adult Contemporary chart, which is crazy because this song just my childhood, I think. I don't think AC radio. I think like Disney Channel.
I think even from the beginning, though, Kelly was always a hit on AC before she hit pop, I think. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It does sound very much like It could be on AC radio. This song it brings back a lot of memories for me for sure. I remember being like I think I was like 10 maybe, watching the Disney Channel, and because the Princess Diaries 2 is going to theaters, or I think going
Mhm.
to DVD, they would have this song on heavy rotation. Okay, the na 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 na, and of course the Disney version. During the commercial breaks, they would actually play the first verse and chop right on over to the bridge. So for a while, I didn't even realize
Oh.
that there was a second verse that I needed to know. But yeah, this definitely sounds like a soundtrack song for
Mhm.
sure. And I guess it kind of fits with her whole I just got off Idol, I'm still living my dreams, and I'm a girl from Texas, my place burned down in California. I'm living my dreams now, I broke away. You know,
Mhm.
so not saying that's something to laugh about, but it's something about the instrumentation and the delivery of the song just sounds like I belong in a teen comedy about a princess trying to find her way.
Mhm.
How did you first hear this song?
I mean, I was kind of aware of her already, so I remember just kind of looking out for it,
Oh, okay.
because obviously, like, she had one idol. I loved tracks from the first album as well, so I was already kind of on the
Mhm.
lookout, right, for new stuff. And this
Ah.
was it was the first single from the album, but it wasn't originally intended that way. I think it was just supposed
Mm.
to be the soundtrack song, and it became way bigger than they anticipated, right? So I guess they
Right.
ended up actually naming the album after it, also. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think it's a good song. I think I would have been what, like 13, 14 at the time.
Oh,
So
wow, okay.
good for that age group, right? Like a great coming
Yeah.
of age song. The lyrics are very simple but effective, which I think is an
Yes.
Avril. I think Avril's been always good about that. Her lyrics are very
Yes.
simple, but there's always
Yes.
like she's good at not at really making it not too cheesy, because this could really go
Mhm.
very cheesy, and it
Yes.
doesn't really do that, which is good.
Mhm.
Yeah, going back to Avril though, like her version is terrible. Like she
Oh,
sounds so bored, and like the
she
emotion's
does.
not really there, despite the fact that the lyrics are so fitting for what she was going through at the time. She's
Yes.
since actually performed it on her last
Really?
tour, so I did actually see that. Sounded way better. I think she actually connects to the song more now, which is interesting. But Kelly definitely elevated it.
Mhm.
This is proof of how a song can be written for one artist, or even by one artist, but actually be meant for someone else. Because
That's the
Kelly's
Dolly
voice, yeah, yes,
Whitney thing. Yeah.
exactly. Because Kelly's like her thicker, huskier tone really does give a more emotional and more sentimental vibe, as opposed to Avril's kind of more
Mhm.
just nonchalant, kind of thinner tone. Um,
Yeah.
and I love that this song sounds so easy for Kelly to sing.
Oh my god, yeah.
Super effortless. Like even with
Oh my
that
god,
huge, there's no
yes.
huge belt note. Like I guess the last chorus, there's a little more
Yeah.
belting in there, but she's not doing like a
Mhm.
ton of runs or anything.
No.
It's
It's very
relatively
pop.
laid back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she has like that light lyrical soprano. Like she's definitely a true soprano, but like you said with the huskiness, you don't really hear how like you don't hear like the huskier, heavier sound that we get introduced to as the album progresses. So this song is definitely a nice introduction to people who may know who she is, but may not have been ready for what comes next with this album,
Mm.
because you're going from Miss Independent and that whole soulful kind of Josh Stone thing, that the whole down
Mm-hmm.
down 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 to wow, wow, kind of rocking. So I think this is a good first track to have for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the music video kind of, because it was for a soundtrack, was sweet and cute. So it still felt very much like Girl Next Door Kelly. It wasn't it
Yeah,
wasn't
I
too
think I think the video is where it gets really cheesy. I
yes.
hated the little kid version of Kelly lip syncing to the song. I despise that. Like I would have much rather just had more clips of Kelly working her odd jobs, because she actually did work
Mm,
at a movie theater when she was a teenager, and I loved that scene. I
hmm.
thought that was very cute and silly.
Yeah,
So I think
I
more
think so
stuff
too.
like that
Yeah,
and then mixed in with her at the red carpet and like showing that she became successful and all that stuff.
right,
Because
right.
yeah,
But
the
the
little
kid thing.
kid scenes I hate those.
What? You didn't like the girl, feel the rush of the ocean. She's singing by the window. When I was younger, that was my part, because I was like, I'm a child singing with the rush of the ocean, So I didn't mind the kids, which is a shocker for me, because I'm always like, why are the kids in the video? So but yeah, I think when I watched it, I was thinking, wow, this this is an anthem for me because I want to fly away, break away, hey, into a bigger career for myself. You know, I'm still working on that, but it just feels good to have this like as like an anthem for a playlist
Yes.
of like, you know, doing your thing. So all that being said, though, what would you rate this song?
I will give it a 9. How about you?
Okay. I will give it an 8.5.
Okay. The second track and lead single from the album is Since You've Been Gone, which was done by Max Martin and Dr. Luke. And though it was originally written for Pink and then given to Hilary Duff, the story goes that Clive Davis convinced Max and Dr. Luke to give it to Kelly. She has since mentioned that the original version was not good. It was very basic and the lyrics were terrible. And she suggested a rewrite and the rockier sound with better guitars and real drums and everything. And the song is arguably Kelly's most famous song, and it is considered by many top media outlets as one of the best songs of all time, and also one of the best breakup songs of all time. And it won the Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance and has been covered by artists from all over the world, from all types of genres. It's really kind of just transcended everything. And pretty much, if you're a living person right now, you know this song.
Yes, it's true.
So, what do you think of Since You've Been Gone?
To hear where it came from and what it ended up being, I could totally understand why she may have been like, okay, this is a little basic, right? It needs a little bit more, especially with the kind of almost going toward Hillary. No offense to Hillary, but she was not.
She could not have sung
Yeah,
this. Yeah.
No. Yeah, it would have been very much like Raise Your Voice, someone phoning it in. Love you, Hillary. Anyway, this is the belt heard round the world. Okay, this belt has been struggled through karaoke bars worldwide. This is a classic. This is a Casey classic for sure. The song is a great record. It's truly, I think her delivery and dynamics are out of this world. Sorry, I had a bracelet. The breathiness that she uses to like nonchalantly remark about the guy's inconsistent behaviors, and then the build into the, I don't want to say shouty chorus, but it's a little shouty. It's fun. It's so fun because it's like when you're telling your friend, it's like, yeah, he was cool or whatever. But oh my God, since he's been gone, it's been amazing. Life has been great. And I think the guitar riff is definitely iconic. As soon as you hear it, you know this song. And interestingly enough, there's some dissonance in that first, like there's dissonance in the guitar riff, and then the bass is a live bass and it's finger plucked. I don't know who played it. Maybe it was Dr.
Maybe
Puke.
Max.
I don't know.
It could have been Max.
Maybe Max. Yeah, you can definitely hear its fingers, and I love that. And the natural sound of this song is what makes it sound even more raw. And then her multiple vocal layers that she recorded, they are tight. They are so tight and they're powerful. However many times she had to sing her chorus over and over and over again with herself, kudos to her. It makes it really, really, really a strong track. And there's so many interesting sounds, like the beeping sound that creeps up right before in the pre-chorus. It's like a swelling, there's like a beepy kind of sound, and then all of a sudden it's explosive, and then we get the bridge that actually has different instrumentation, thank God, because we don't get that anymore. Oh my God. And I have to say, the again and again and again and again, that note is so hard to hit that watching her do it live, it was like rock shouty in the beginning, but as she's aged, she's kind of shifted it to like a F sharp, and it sounds more sustained, more full, and it sounds freaking gorgeous. The note is timeless, and because she's been able to kind of fix up her vocal technique and change things up, she's been able, I like it more now because it sounds more magnificent, and that little churchy mixed belt sound that she's doing, it's just better for the sake of longevity. So vocally, we all know she can hit it, but I'd love to hear it live and see how she's changed certain things to A, save her voice, B, to make it sound even more sweeter and kind of surprise the audience a little bit. So if she's singing it lower, guys, say thank you, because the fact that she can still sing it.
Yeah. She definitely lowers the key of most of her songs now. That's really the only way she could do a tour or even a full show. Her songs are crazy.
Exactly.
And yeah, I agree. Actually, the live versions have all been really great. yeah, they really do add a lot of dynamic into it as well. But yeah, I think honestly, at the end of the day, this is just a perfect pop song. Like it's so good. And I think the
Yeah.
pop rock sound is perfect for her voice and tone. And she really brought this sound into mainstream culture. Like after this happened, I mean, her and Pink maybe together, but this
Yeah.
is when that sound was just everywhere after that, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah,
You're so
pretty
right.
pretty iconic. And yeah, I agree. I think the production's really great.
Mhm.
Love all the different layers of guitars. I like the mix of kind of the no, the fake drums kind of through the verses, and then the real drums
Mm.
into into the chorus. It just makes it all just the more dramatic and really takes you on a ride. And yeah, the
Mhm.
bridge is just one of the best female pop vocal moments of all time. Like that fully deserves the Grammy. You know, not many
Yes.
people could sing that at
Yeah.
all.
No.
So yeah, yeah, and then going back, and then yeah, speaking of performances, a
Mhm.
lot of people remember her VMA performance from 2005. She sings the whole second verse in the higher octave, which sounds
Oh my
insane.
god. That's what I'm saying.
Then
Oh
there's
god.
Rain. I mean, her vocal, she sounds out of breath kind of by the end because she's literally walking around the whole time, like nonstop.
Yeah.
But her performance skills, it's kind of crazy because if you watch Idol, and then it's just like three
Mhm.
years later she's doing that. Like it's kind of insane how
Mhm.
much she improved just in those couple of years.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's always a good moment. And I love this video. It looked
Yes.
so fun to film. Like just trash this guy's apartment and just be a
Totally.
rock star. You know?
That'd be great. Like, oh, I have to go to a show later, but I'm gonna mess your stuff up before I go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here for that. And also, the music videos correlating to this album all have like a guy with like the short, like stringy bob. So now I know leather jackets, tight skinny jeans, and the stringy bob. Stay away from. Thank you so much, Kelly.
All right. So, what do you rate since you've been gone?
I give it a 10. I give it a
Oh,
10. That's high.
yes, definitely a 10. Definitely a 10.
Third track is Behind These Hazel Eyes, written by Kelly Clarkson, Max Martin, and Dr. Luke. This is the third single released in April 2005, and it was written about Kelly's ex boyfriend, as she said, crappy relationships make a good song. Dr. Luke has said that this song was a bit of an olive branch toward Kelly, as due to a miscommunication. Kelly had actually written lyrics for Since You've Been Gone, but then the lyrics had already been made and done, so they sent her another song to write to.
Hmm.
So that was quite nice. And you know, I'm not a fan of Dr. Puke, but I will say that him and Max and Kelly did write a very good song. I think I
Hmm.
remember hearing this song. I forgot how I heard it. When I tell you, I don't know how she came into my. She was in my periphery a lot. I don't know how I came to know this song, but I do remember it. I will always remember it because it's very specific. I'm like, behind these hazel eyes, okay, you know. And then of course the chorus. I never knew the verses. I just remember the "Here I am once again."
Hmm.
I think it may have been used as like a song for like a movie or a TV show that just needed a woman getting her crap together and
Mm.
realizing that she, not going to cry over a man anymore. But yeah, like I mean the whole 2000s rock sound is everything to me, was everything to me rather. I mean, you had Amy Lee fronting Evanescence at the time and their album Fallen was released a year prior. And with Amy Lee, she had this operatic delivery and her belts were more ethereal and haunting.
Hmm.
I mean, she had Evanescence with the goth rock that the kids loved, right? Kelly has the same kind of angst in this song, but she's able to deliver it in this nice little pop package. And because she's a little bit more of that like soulful voice, it's a little bit more punching in your face. And
Hmm.
her belting style is one that I really envy. And I think a lot more people need to cite her as an influence. Because, like, if you want to talk about belting without straining a power ballad, she delivers it completely. And I feel like the only person we have as comparable who kind of at least tries to hit notes like this now is maybe a Demi Lovato. They actually do try to give you a little bit of a with their they try,
Yes.
excuse me. They do try. Skyscraper,
Yeah, yeah.
anyone, Stone
Hmm.
Cold. I think that's the only vocalist I can even compare now that could at least give us some type of pain and soul in their voices. And I love the lyrics. They're very obvious. It's simple to understand. And the thing that really sells it is that she's able to emote so well.
Mm-hmm.
And her refusing to give an ex the satisfaction of seeing her cry is like, oh, that is so me. And the whole ex thing, speaking of Evanescence and Amy Lee, she was dating not the guitarist, right?
David, I forget which one
Date
he is, but yeah.
Hodges or something. But yes,
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that this, yeah, it was David Hodges. I thought the track was penned before the breakup was confirmed, but maybe it just happened all at the same time. But honey, ooh, interestingly
Mm-hmm.
enough, just seeing how he was involved with this album, I don't
Yeah.
know if it was actually about him really. Like I don't know how
This
how
was
the
one of the last
song.
songs done for the album.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Chris. He has answered my question, y'all. The speculation's over. Chris, on to you. What do you think about this song?
I love this song. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
being obsessed with it from the first time I heard it on the album.
Hmm.
It's super dramatic, and the lyrics are very beautiful. And I think the structure is just perfect. I mean, I credit Max Martin, I think, with this because it's just he kind of has it with a lot of his songs. That
Yes.
anthemic chorus with kind of these very tension-building verses. Then there's a very nice and subtle build of background vocal layers that come in throughout. And then the bridge is
Yeah.
always just really dramatic and in this case
Hmm.
it's very dark. Um,
Yeah.
and then I think for me the pre-chorus is actually my favorite moment in this song. Um, I think it's just really cool the way it plays with the emotion and how it builds into
Yeah.
the chorus and her vocal delivery also. It sounds kind of quiet. It sounds kind of sad. But
Hmm.
then then she builds the octave the second time that it comes around as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think the vocal delivery on this is absolutely insane, and the
Hmm.
production helps that, right?
Yeah.
Also, yeah, the ad libs at the end. I know everyone
Hmm.
focuses on the anymore, right? The big anymore note, but the ad libs throughout the last courses are crazy.
Yes. Dawn. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
She's back there sitting there giving you freaking notes
yeah,
to a rock
yeah.
song. You're like, okay, girl. Those kind of ad libs are, I want to say they're atypical in rock songs, but you don't really hear the style in which she was ad
Mm-hmm.
libbing back there. So you're so right.
Yeah, they deserve to shine for sure. I
Mhm.
would suggest everyone listen to or watch the acoustic version from VH1
Mm.
Sessions. Her
Mhm.
vocals absolutely insane in this. She does do the anymore note in it. She rarely hits that live, I think because it's crazy. But yeah, she does
Yeah.
it in that one very clearly and crisply. So definitely check that out if you just want to hear a really good live vocal. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, what do you think of the music video? So the music video was actually produced by or directed by Joseph Kahn.
Yes,
Um,
Joseph's great.
yeah, and he's already iconic. And the concept was a broken fairy tale. So yeah, what did you
Yeah.
think of the video?
Definitely conveyed. I think that the whole it's like a goth princess meets pop princess. I like that.
Hmm.
Um, her scenes where she's standing with the band in that torn, distressed bodysuit.
Yeah.
I love that because she looks so tough. I obviously after watching the video, I feel like that's her awakened self, the one that's behind the one that's in front. That's the Hazel eyes. That's the one that's standing in front
Yes.
saying, "I'm not going to cry," and her obviously being the bride that's been well, essentially not left at the altar, but cheated on.
Yeah, yeah.
And her crying and running through that forest was very reminiscent of Snow White. So again, you can definitely tell where the influence is coming from. There's nothing like specifically like cryptic about it. It's very obvious, and she looked great. Even though I hate seeing her sad because of her personality and just
Hmm.
something about her just seems so warm and sweet. So to see her in these cool, dark, hush colors and being the only white glowing thing in this dark smoky forest, absolutely amazing. The color, oh, I love videos like this. And the
Yes.
whole, they're in a studio for sure, so to have that smoke coming through with those branches, everything just looks like it burnt away, and it's wet because it's raining. It's her tears, and then we're back at the altar. If you know My Chemical Romance, you know Helena in that video when they're at the church. That's what I was getting, the camera angle of her walking in, and you can see her. Like, oh, I can go on, but I like this video for sure, and I love the symbolic nature of it as well because everything was a foresight given to her
Hmm.
from her awakened self. So I was like, come through. What
Yes.
about you? What do you
Yes, I mean, yeah,
think?
I completely agree. I think this is one of her best music videos ever.
Yeah.
I think the scene of her kind of lying in the muddy in the mud with the torn and dirty wedding dress is a pretty iconic shot, and I do think of that when I hear the song. That image. She actually even performed the song in a wedding dress during one of her tours as well.
Iconic.
So yeah, it's such a good music video, and it fits the song perfectly.
Yeah, iconic, absolutely iconic. And for that, with the video combined with the song, I will give it a 10.
I will also give it a 10. The fourth track on the album is Because of You. And this one was done by Kelly Clarkson and David Hodges and Ben Moody of Evanescence. And this ended up being the fourth single released in August 2005. And she had actually originally written it when she was 16 years old about her father and her parents' divorce. And she had actually pitched the song for the first album to the record label, but they did reject it. And after working on it again with David and Ben and fighting with the label, it made it onto the second album. And Kelly actually later revealed that Clive Davis hated the song and called her a shitty writer who should be grateful for the gifts that he bestows upon her, grateful for, the songs that he finds for her. He has denied this, but sorry, I believe Kelly. And this song, I think, means a lot to her, both because she wrote it when she was so young, but also because she had to fight so hard to actually get it released. So what do you think of Because of You?
Oh man! So speaking of who has written on this song, with the Evanescence members, former members, well, David's definitely former. I haven't checked the roster lately, but David's definitely not part of the band. But the breathy vocal delivery in the beginning with the piano is very reminiscent of Evanescence Immortal. For those who don't know, if y'all don't know Amy Lee, Amy Lee's. You'd be surprised. I'd be like, huh, yeah, So Amy Lee's vocal, again, she has a more ethereal, operatic style. So when you hear someone like Kelly singing very much hushed, you can hear more of that huskiness. And much like Immortal, Because of You starts out very haunting and somber. And like I said, the light rasp that she lets escape, oh my God, it sounds like she's wounded. I will not. I'm like, ooh, it's great. And like my favorite subtleties about her vocal delivery in this song is that she lets a little bit of melisma slip out. Like I learned the hard way. It's a slight run. Each pre-hook has a slight run, and I'm like, oh, little things like that are like little Easter eggs from my ears, because the verses are very steady, and then you have a little run, and then it keeps going, and then you get Because of You. It's great. And the background vocals are so good too. They're not as present as the previous songs, but they're hushed and they sound like a distant memory. The oohs in the chorus, the repeated phrases in the bridges, that just again gave me Amy Lee, because it sounded, I watched you die. It was very, very like a ghost of her memory. And I just thought, wow, it adds to the lyrical story. And then the last chorus with the alternate lyrics.
Yes.
I love that. Because even though the lyrics changed, she's still saying, I'm hurt because of you. This has happened because of you. And it's like, there's no resolution really in this song. It's just like, I've been hurt and I want to release this. This is more of a catharsis than it is for absolution. But maybe the release does help her feel a little bit more full. And I love that. And speaking about what you said with the subject matter, when I heard this song for the first time, I was introduced to it by a vocal coach. Shout out Terry Little. And she played it for me because she's like, oh, why don't you try this? Because I wanted to work on my blend. Kelly sings there. That's her sweet spot. She sounds so good there. I was like, I want to work on it. She showed me this song and I was like, I can't do it. First of all, because of the lyrics, it's something personal for me, like a personal connection. And also because the song is a lot of effort vocally. But yeah. But yeah, no, totally. My little self loved this one. It made me feel like understood for sure. And I definitely appreciated it. What about you?
Yeah, I think this song is very beautiful. I think I'm curious. We never got to hear, I think, the original demo. I would assume it's more just like a
Mm.
piano-led version. And I
Mhm.
think that kind of that outro or those final choruses that you were mentioning,
Mhm.
where there's the key change and the new lyrics and stuff. I'm gonna guess that's actually what David and who's the other guy? David
Oh.
and Ben. I think
Ben.
that's what they added because she
Mhm.
never sings that part live. Really, I think she's maybe done it a couple
Mm.
times. Um,
Interesting.
yeah. But anyway, I think having Evanescence actually come in and elevate the song was such an inspired idea. I think, like you
Mhm.
said, I think she did hear, Evanescence's material and felt the fit. And it was just such a
Mhm.
good idea because they do that kind of dramatic, kind of sad song so well. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, I think I just love how haunting the whole thing sounds. Like,
Yeah.
and I think knowing that she wrote it when she was so young is pretty
It's sad.
crazy.
Oh,
I think it's
yes.
interesting because I think a lot of people interpret this as a song about a romantic relationship,
Hmm.
which I guess you could see it that way. But when
Mhm.
you when
Mhm.
you realize it's about her parents, it's
Yeah.
so much more depressing that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think this is definitely it makes sense that this is kind of one of the songs that has stayed kind of one of her most iconic hits, I think, because
Yeah.
it's just you learn so much about her just from this one song. It's
Yes.
very
Yes.
vulnerable. And
Yep.
I'm going to shout out another performance. The
Mhm.
Grammy 2006 performance of this track
Oh
is
yeah.
so good. She's like about to cry the whole time. The arrangement is
Mhm.
super beautiful. And actually, the little girl from the video plays the piano in it as well. But yeah,
Oh,
speaking of the
love it.
video, what did you think
Mhm.
of it?
Again, a little too close to home for me.
Mm.
But um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna get into explicit detail because that's not what the show is about. But I thought the video was interesting because the whole like getting the relationship aspect of it. Uh, I didn't get that at all. So watching the video, it definitely helped made it more clear. And it goes back to what I was saying about if you were introduced to her from American Idol, you see how sweet
Hmm.
she is, how nice she's so sassy. She's from Texas. Oh, this girl. Ooh, 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 ooh. And you watch this video, you realize there's a lot more to her than just a contrived pop idol from a TV show. You realize there's a
Hmm.
lot more to her than Miss Independent, and it could possibly scare people because it's like, oh my God, this is a huge change. This is really shocking. But she delivers it so well, and so beautifully, where you don't really see anything that's too graphic. You don't see anything. You don't really know anything except that the parents don't get along, and that her and her boyfriend seem to be repeating some of the
Yes.
patterns. Um, but one thing that the video has that the lyrics did not was a resolution, which I appreciate, where she realized that this is reminding her of her childhood, and therefore she does not want to relive that and have this generational curse continue. So I definitely appreciate that from her, and I love the way they filmed the video with specific scenes, and I could see her
Hmm.
she was getting ready to cry, and
Hmm.
they kept some of the parts where she stopped singing, had to gather herself, and I think that's what made it even more like she's really feeling it. She's real. She's not just some
Yes.
curated character by Clive Davis and friends, you know?
Yeah.
What did you think about the video?
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. It's
Hmm.
very effective. I think the shots
Yeah.
in the mirrored room are really
Hmm.
beautiful. And yeah, I'm glad it wasn't just like flashbacks of her as a child and then her in the mirrored room. Like I liked the
Yeah.
scenes of her and the kid where she's like
Mm.
looking back.
Oh
The whole kind
yeah.
of parallel thing with her, I guess, current relationship in the music video. It's almost
Hmm.
even more sad, kind of knowing what she's gone through
Oh
more recently within her current relationship.
yeah.
But overall, I think the video, yeah, it's just super, super effective. It makes the song even better, which is what a music video should do. And it actually did win Best Female Video at the 2006 MTV VMAs as well. Fully deserved,
As it
um,
should.
as it should. So yeah, one of my favorites from her overall
Hmm.
again. So
Yeah.
I, of course, give it a 10 out of 10. How about you? I'm trying not to be biased, but I'm sorry, it's so good.
Okay, well, as a quote unquote non-fan,
Yeah.
and I will explain what that means a little bit later. But yeah, as a non-fan, I actually want to give it a 10 too. Actually, yeah,
Okay.
Fifth track is Gone, written by Cara DioGuardi and John Shanks. This song was never released officially as a single, but the song did get some radio airplay in the US and hit number 77 on the Pop 100. Chris, I'm gonna let you start us off. What do you think about this song?
Yeah, I think this is a great sing-along track. I remember I went to her Stronger tour, and she had it on the set list just for the first couple shows. And I was so excited because I hadn't heard it live at that point, and it goes off live, I will say, for sure. I do love the staccato acoustic guitar strumming, you know? And I love that she kind of sings it that way too, the verses, with just a hint of sass. The chorus is anthemic again, great sing-along chorus as I mentioned earlier. But I will say the production definitely isn't as complex as the songs we've heard so far.
Right.
Not necessarily in a bad way, right? But it kind of just shows how well thought out those other songs are, right? Like this is very similar to Since You've Been Gone. First off, it's called Gone. So it's kind of hard not to compare it. But even just like sonically, right? It is very similar. Structurally, it's similar. But Since You've Been Gone has way more kind of things going on in production, and it just feels just more thought out. This one's just more simple. But that's just, that's just a choice, like an artistic choice, I guess. But that is a little jarring, given that these last 4 songs have been more complex, I think.
Right.
I will say, though, I do love when a song brings it back to the first verse in some interesting or creative way, and this one does do that, which I love. And again, the ad-libs at the end of the song are crazy. They're so high, they are so low, that they're so like far back in the mix, though. They really should be at the forefront because they're crazy. Amazing, crazy, amazing.
Too powerful. It's crazy, amazing.
They blow the
too
speakers.
Powerful.
if they were too high in the mix, I guess. I don't know.
That'd be funny. Just like, I'm surprised. Has there ever been a music video where she sung and the speakers just blew?
No, but it should happen, I guess.
It should have been done.
Although I don't know if that's usually seen as like a negative thing, though, isn't it? When you blow the speakers.
I know, but for like the people who don't really know music, they're thinking, "Whoa, she's so powerful." She like she peaked. She should have peaked. She came in way too hot. Yeah, you know what? I think the way the song is sung, I think the staccato part is the best. I like that part because it's like, I sound crazy. But yeah, singing like that is fun. And it adds more energy because it takes a little bit more than the legato kind of songs that we're kind of like used to hearing. And you also have to really control the vibrato and melisma that you have when you're singing, because if you're singing on a track, or if you're singing in any place and you have to keep the counts and the notes, it's important that you maintain your breath control and you sustain the rhythm. So it's really fun to listen to and try to mimic, as you guys just heard me struggle through. It's not like super hard to do, but if you're not really paying attention, I'm just gonna F around a little bit. You could mess up the notes, and the notes were very much the same for a while. Like they're very like one note. So it's nice to hear that. It doesn't really show off like all of her vocal agility, but it definitely shows how much control she has, especially when you watch like a live show like the AOL sessions, because she's running around.
Oh, yeah,
like,
the live AOL stream. Yeah.
Yeah, I just happened to watch it. I was like, oh, let me take a look at it. When she first put the songs out, let me take a quick look. And she's sitting there walking around the stage, going around and still, taking strategic breaths here and there, but you could hear her start to give out a little bit, because it's a lot to do that, to perform and then hit the notes that come in with the choruses and then the bridge. But yeah, back to that AOL performance. I am so glad that as she got bigger and well, she's always been good, but as she's gotten bigger and better, so did her background vocalist. Because during the AOL sessions, oh my God, those bozos were bozoing. Like, because they were not doing what they needed to do vocally, she couldn't take a breath to kind of sing. How people kind of stop singing and the background vocals are still going?
Yeah.
She had a guitarist singing background, a male vocalist, and then a female vocalist. I did not hear that woman once. And I'm like, she can't even stop to go, yeah, she had to sing the whole time and carry a lot of the chorus, because all you hear is, "When I'm gone." Come on, man. Like, I was like, what the heck?
Oh my God. Yeah. I was actually watching that concert this morning, but I didn't get to Gone yet. I think I only made it halfway through the concert. So that's funny. I'm gonna finish it after this, because I remember having watched that years ago. But I do think she was. I agree. I think the musical arrangements are much stronger now, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you rate Gone?
I will give this one an 8.5. Honestly, I didn't feel like you said, since you've been gone, all these tracks I'm just
Yeah,
smacking it at the park. This one kind of was like a cute run around first and second for me. So
fair,
yeah.
fair.
What
I
about
will
you?
give it a 9. The sixth song on the album is Addicted. This one was done by Kelly Clarkson and, of course, David Hodges and Ben Moody of Evanescence.
Mhm.
And you can totally tell this totally sounds
Oh
inspired
yeah.
by Evanescence.
Yeah.
But I love this one so much. I
Hmm.
love how dark it is. I love the
Yeah.
drama. The lyrics are kind of creepy. Like, it really does feel like this like inner demon.
Hmm.
She's fighting this inner demon the whole time. And
Yeah.
that's emphasized by, like, first off, some of the lyrics are awesome in this
Hmm.
song, but also just the haunting backing vocals, the way she belts the chorus, like she sounds like she's like in torment, like she's in pain,
Oh
like
my
internal
gosh.
pain. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I have to give a shout out to the bridge. I think this may be my favorite bridge on the whole album.
Oof. Yes.
The yearning in
Yes.
the lyrics, the tension building drums, and the backing vocals kind of leading
Hmm.
into this octave build for the repeat, and the whole band just kind of getting more intense with it.
Yeah.
It's a perfect bridge.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
What do you think of Addicted?
I think it might be one of my favorite bridges on this album. I could be wrong. I'm not sure just yet. I gotta think about it.
Uh huh.
But this song is definitely one of those songs that uh again is you don't see many people trying to cover this one. But
No.
it's tough. Like since you've been gone, it's tough, right? But this one requires a lot more grit in the voice, a lot more just you have to just have the vocal dynamics on point. You can't be like a meh kind of singer when you hit these notes.
Yeah.
Um and earlier I was saying like the way I was introduced to her has always been kind of on the periphery or like me not even realizing who she was because A, I was too young. And B, I wasn't thinking I was going to be a singer. I just want to kind of add that in there too. But I wasn't thinking of, oh yeah, I like this. I want to be just like her. So the way I was introduced to this was by AMVs. If you don't know what an AMV is, that's an anime music video. Now I had gotten injured while I was dancing, or I have flat feet. Not really injury, but I had
I
inflamed
get it. I have
ligaments.
flat feet too.
Come through, ducks. Let's get it. So so during my healing, I was learning how to work Windows Movie Maker and I was getting into YouTube. I know, right? So far we've come when we edit this whole show on Final Cut, right? Shout out. And anime music videos were popular on YouTube. It's like taking your clips from your favorite anime and then putting them to a song, which takes a lot of work because hundreds of episodes, right?
Mm.
And the one that I saw was for a Sailor Moon
Mm.
AM music video. Or it was Inuyasha. Either way, I was like, this song is freaking intense. How can you take something that's so magical girl and put it to this song? And it's like, oh my God. And I remember just thinking, this is like, woof. Same thing with Evanescence's Immortal,
Yeah.
a Sailor Moon AMV. So again, I'm not sure if she knows that a bunch of anime fans have kept her B-sides alive, but we have. We have kept
Yeah.
them alive. But yeah, it's so interesting to hear this album and hear all of these singles, or not even singles, all these B-sides sprinkled through because I've heard them in passing. And it's good, the similes in this song are really scary. Like you said, instrumentally, we hear all of this tension and angst and need, but lyrically, it's really spooky because I mean, people say that love is like a drug, and I'm about to get really nerdy. But the song didn't pull any punches with the analogies. Biology says that your brain circuitry fires up when you're in love, like the nucleus accumbens. Listen, guys, accumbens. Excuse me. The nucleus accumbens releases all that dopamine, and that reward system in your brain says, "We want more of this. What do I have to do to get more of it?" And that's what it's like when you even do a line in the bathroom, if you catch my drift. So it's the same thing. Like your brain is going pew pew pew, firing off all of these freaking hormones, and you love this person. And the worst thing is, it's like in the wrong hands, as the ones described in this song, it could be a detriment for sure. But if you're in love and you feel this way, oh, it's so sweet. But for unhealthy relationships like the ones described in this song, so good. And I can see how some fans might look at this and be like, this song might have helped me get over an addiction. This
Mm.
song might have helped me get over a breakup, because the song doesn't say, oh yeah, you did this to my body. It sounds like she's talking and begging and pleading. Like, she knows it's wrong, but she keeps doing it, and it sounds like someone with a real addiction. And I've never had addiction, but for those who've seen it, Euphoria season 2, the way Zendaya was acting in this one, like, 10-minute scene, this song is completely embodies it. And like you said, the bridge is there, and I'm still surprised why. Like, I'm like, maybe not surprised. Maybe there's some other stuff we don't know. With Kelly and Amy Lee still not ever singing together, and I've only heard mashups on YouTube. One day, I'm just hoping. I mean, Evanescence was on her show a while back, but it wasn't them singing together. It wasn't them singing their songs. You know, oh, I wish Kelly would just, hey girl, and Amy say, hey girl, and that's just me though. But yeah, I'm off my nerdy horse, my nerdy soapbox. I rate the song out of 10 though. I have to be really honest. I'm kind of mad at myself because this album is probably the first album where we've given it such high scores throughout. So I'm gonna have to just kind of give it a 10 though. So yeah, what about you?
Yeah, this one's definitely up there with all of her singles for me. And I think this album is just such an iconic pop album that even people know the B-sides almost as well as the album tracks. A lot of people from this kind of generation, I think. But yeah, agree. It's a 10.
7th track is Where Is Your Heart? Written by Kelly Clarkson, Cara Diaguardi, Chantel Nicole, and Rain Maida. Oh boy. So this song reminds me of when people have different love languages. This song isn't about that, I know, but I mean, people communicate and display love in ways that are recognizable in different ways for different people.
Yeah.
In this song, the guy is described as true and loyal and kind, but I guess he's lacking some sincerity, maybe lacking some passion. She laments about having to constantly reach out to him, and I can understand how that can be a problem for a lot of people. I like the lyrics. I like that the lyrics kind of convey her confusion a little bit. Like, she just thought love would be a little bit more effortless, like a petal falling to the ground or a dreamer chasing his dreams. But like, honestly, truthfully, like, relationships are not like that at all. Relationships are work and honest efforts. But apparently homeboy ain't putting any in. This song doesn't really mention any of that. But it does seem that either he has been like this all along, or the jaded, more reserved nature revealed itself as their relationship developed. The song isn't bad, right? But compared to all the other tracks, it's a more subtle song, and it's not really mind-blowing, but I like how honest the lyrics are. And I think my favorite part lyrically is that in the bridge, there is an olive branch extended where she's like, hey, I want to communicate with you. It's just you and me. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me why you're being this way. So I do appreciate that. I like that she wanted to hear him out. But aside from the meaning of the song and the vocals, this song doesn't really do it for me. I mean, honestly,
yeah,
what about you?
So I do believe the song is actually about David Hodges. So we know how that ended. So I think this was just never meant to be, I think. But I agree. I think it is about different love languages, right? Like, I guess just she wasn't understanding how he was. Like, I think he was just saying all these things, but she wasn't feeling it the way she wanted to feel it, right? So, yeah, I like that. I like that analogy.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I think the production is very pretty. I think it was time for a ballad. We just got like 4 very intense songs, or 4 or 5 very intense songs right before this, you know?
Right.
So it was time to to bring it back a little bit. And you know, Kelly, her voice is so good that she can carry any ballad, right? I think melodically it is pretty, but it isn't my favorite. She has some amazing ballads, and I think this one is good, but it's nothing special, especially compared to all these other songs we've just heard. But yeah, I think, again, like you said, I think the best part of it is the vocal delivery. I like the kind of intensity that she puts into her voice kind of as the song continues.
Right.
And we get some nice ad-libs. So yeah, I think it's a decent album track. So I will give it an 8.
For me, this song is a 7.5.
The next song is Walk Away. And this one again was done by Kelly Clarkson, Cara Diaguardi, Chantal Nicole, and Rain Maida. And this was actually the 5th single from the album, released in January 2006, and it was another huge hit for Kelly all over the world. And it was written about how if something isn't working out, just leave. sometimes things just can't be saved, you know? So this song has grown on me a lot with time. I remember the first time I heard the album, it wasn't my favorite, and I think when it was released as a single, I didn't fully agree with that. However, after experiencing it live on multiple occasions, especially when she had huge horn sections, which she has brought on tours before, oh gosh, the song is so good. It comes alive. Again, just such a great sing-along chorus. I think the issue is you had Since You've Been Gone, and so anytime you have a song that's kind of like that, you're instantly going to compare it, right? And so it's tough to live up to that, so I'm doing my best to not compare it and just kind of treat it as its own song. So yeah, I love the sass in her vocal delivery, especially in that bridge. Another perfect pop bridge, you know? That just leave. Yes.
Yeah.
The production is good. I like the balance of the guitars and the drums. So yeah, I think it's a solid pop song. What do you think?
I agree with you. I wasn't exactly like the biggest fan of this song, and again, I wasn't introduced by a way of myself. I was introduced to this song because my little how we were definitely in elementary school. We were not in high school yet. I forget, but my friend and I, well, she was listening to the song and she was correlating it to a guy that she had a crush on, who of course did not even realize that she even existed. Well, he knew, but like she was acting as if she was gonna break up with him. Talking about, well, he doesn't want to pay attention to me. He could just walk away. And I thought, girl, he doesn't even know how you feel. Like, you know, so that's how I was introduced to this song. Because I remember her telling me about the people in the music video lip syncing and having a good time. And she said, there's a guy, he wears a football padding and jersey, just like the guy that she liked. And she's like, he was dancing in there and reminded me of him. I was like, wow, this is real personal.
This was in primary school? You mean like middle school? Probably like middle school.
Yeah, like elementary, right? Secondary, elementary.
Isn't elementary school like until 5th grade? And then it's middle
Oh,
school
okay, okay,
6 to
okay.
8.
Then
Right?
middle school, yeah. But yeah, this is one of those songs where I only knew the chorus for a while. You know, the should you stay or should you go? You know, just fun things like that. It's relatable for sure. It's like if you don't want to be here, get the step in, you know? I think this probably is one of the not even one of like this is comparable to Since You've Been Gone. It's a brighter song on this album. And I'm quotes around that brighter. There's a lot of interesting production qualities here. Like there's like a quirky bell sound. Honestly, I'm not attracted to them. I didn't like them then. I still don't like them now. But it gives the song a fun color, and very much to what you said about her introducing horns. I remember watching a Kelly Clarkson video where she's like had like a bracket challenge of all of her songs, and she said she liked Walk Away because as she did it more, when she introduced more of those horns, those trumpets, the saxophones, all those wind instruments, she liked it even more. She makes it more enjoyable to perform. And like you said, that bridge is great. When I hear that bridge, I think of church. For those who grew up in the Baptist church or like in a Southern church, or you've even heard the pastor speaking while the music's still going, she was giving it. She said, "Are you gonna live for me, live for me, die for me?" You know, Nathan, pray for me. You know, a lot of pastors do that. The music's going off in the back. Dun-dun, dun-dun. She was giving me that southern bell just came out, and I was like, I love that. And she said, if you don't, then just a leg, because she went off. Because it was a little offbeat, but that's what it is sometimes. When you're just talking your mess, that's what it is. And then she was still singing, so it's like, oh, she's still giving it to you. So it's very sing-song rappy, Baptist church pastor. I love that part. It is so fun, and nobody does that anymore. One thing I also notice about even though I'm not like a huge Kelly Clarkson fan, she knows how to have fun. And songs like this gives that fun. It's just like, are you gonna do this? And you gonna do this? Then just believe. You'll get the note at the end. I'll give you the note. So yeah, again, she's great. I'm starting to realize even more so. She's worth a listen. Okay.
What'd you think of the music video? You mentioned it a little bit, but yeah, did you like it?
It was funny because she was sitting there swaying her little hips. I said, "Excuse me, Kelly." The top was funny because you know it's made a resurgence now where people are wrapping the scarves around their bra. I mean, around themselves like a bra a la Christina dirty.
Mhm.
But she had it on, and there's a chain with the cross hanging at the bottom of it. I was like, this is not appropriate. But you look good, girl. She had like the single ladies hump that we all
Yes,
know.
love that
That's
hair.
it's very Texas. Big hair, don't care, cheerleader girl. So it's very much Southern and rock. I just like the video. She just, again, very cool, very fun, and everyone else is sitting there living their best life through her.
Yes, I love all the shots of that, quote unquote normal people, just enjoying the song
Normal.
in various situations, and them getting caught. Also, it's just funny.
Yes.
So yeah, I think again, it does a good job of making you like the song more. When you see all these people having fun, then you also have fun.
hmm
So yeah, like I said though, I do like the song more live. So if I'm just rating the studio version, I will give it
Mm.
a 8.5.
Okay, I will give it an 8. Ninth track on this Breakaway album is You Found Me, written by Cara Diaguardi and John Shanks. With this song, I have to say, I'm not sure if Kelly knows this, or maybe she does, but the anime and gaming fans, like I said before, have been keeping her B-sides alive, okay? I don't think anyone realizes this, but again, there is a song, there's an AM video or like a gaming music video with Final Fantasy characters used with this song. And
Mm.
again, it was years ago, y'all. If y'all see the graphics of this Final Fantasy compared to the ones we got now, boy. Um, but yeah, so I remember hearing it, but not really paying attention and not realizing what it was. And I don't think I liked it that much at the time either. So this song, now listening back to it, I can appreciate a lot more. Um, the high pitched synthy part in the beginning reminds me of "Come Clean" by Hilary Duff from the Metamorphosis album.
Mm.
So the whole Hilary Duff was supposed to get "Since You've Been Gone." Was it "Since You've Been Gone"? Yeah, she was
Mhm.
supposed to get that, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So the whole like Metamorphosis album kind of sounding like this one, like
Mhm.
"Come Clean." Let's go back to the
Uh,
beginning.
yes, I
It
hear
has like
it.
that, yeah. It's a weird wiry, if that's the word, kind of synth that you can hear in Pocket Full of Sunshine as well. I don't really like the sound, but I can understand how it's being used. I also have to say, the way the song progresses with the guitars and the way she sings it, it reminds me of like some Charmed soundtrack vibes. Like I can totally hear this being played at P3 while the Halliwell sisters are kicking some demons behind in the
Yes.
back. It's just very much 2000s, early 2000s.
Uh-huh.
And I do like this song a little bit more. I like songs that are like this. Like, You Found Me, because I'm from that Nobody's Supposed to Be Here era. Like I was not looking for love. How did it find me? I'm a sucker for that. Okay. It's so relatable. But again, with that being said, it didn't really do a lot for me. The song is
Mhm.
beautiful. Like the meaning is very lovely and the delivery is okay. It's almost average a little bit for me. Um, but, it's Kelly. She can sing her booty off.
Mhm.
And I'm so sorry to anybody else who's listening to this and have like a deep connection to this song, because I was scouring the internet, seeing what fans thought about the song, and a lot of them said that when they were going through hard times, this song reminded them of finding God, or maybe they found their people to hang out with, like they found their tribe
Oh,
essentially. So if you do
interesting.
have a connection to this song, I do apologize. Just I'm looking at it objectively, kind of just like, even though I feel like I can relate to it because I want someone to find me when no one
Mhm.
was looking. Was it delivered in a way that I want to keep listening to?
Yeah.
Not really. What about you, my
Yeah.
fan?
Actually, if I remember correctly, and Kelly fans, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure
Mm.
she doesn't like the song either.
Oh. Hmm.
So yeah,
Why is that?
I don't know. I think she just didn't feel that it was, one of a good song on the album, like compared to the rest of the album, I guess. Which I
Mhm.
agree with. I
Mm.
also get the very just kind of early 2000s like girl with the guitar kind of singing this. Like I could see Michelle Branch singing this.
Oh my god.
Like
Yes.
that makes sense to me. Yeah, I think the melody is pretty, but I do think it is the most fillery song on the album. I could probably argue
Mm.
that every single song on this album could be a single aside from this one. Um,
Whoa. Whoa.
And I think honestly, I don't think the song is bad. I think that just
Yeah.
shows how high the standard is on this album. Because the song is
Mm-hmm.
catchy, like the melody is pretty, like I mentioned. I do agree that her delivery sound, she does sound mildly bored, I think, on
Yeah.
this.
Sorry. Yes.
But again, maybe it's because the songs before were so dramatic, and so she had to be kind
Mm-hmm.
of either more sad or just more angry or just, more emotional in some way, and this one's actually happy, I guess, and I don't know, maybe she wasn't in that place in her life. I don't know, she just doesn't really
Ooh.
sound fully convinced when she's singing
Oh.
this song, personally. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, this tends to be one I wouldn't say I forget it, but it's almost the one that's like the other one, you know? Like on an
Yeah.
album full of huge hits and songs that could have been hits, it's like this is the other one.
The black
Um,
sheep or like the gray one because it's kind of like, like.
exactly. To and so in that line, then I will give it a C. It's a 7.5. How about you?
See, y'all, we have never used letters in our lives on this show. It's like this. Likewise, I will give it a C as well. A fat 7. Sorry.
That's a C minus.
Oh my.
Track 10 on the album is I Hate Myself for Losing You. And this one was written by Cara DioGuardi, Jimmy Harry, and Shep Solomon, and also produced by Cliff Magnus. So,
Mm.
what do you think of this one?
This song is interesting to me because again, I was introduced to this via someone else and not actually Kelly,
Mm.
not directly through Kelly. Um, so I'm like a fake theater nerd, very fake theater nerd, where I only watch certain things and only know certain things. But I do enjoy the vocals, and I think Broadway singers are absolutely amazing. So I want to preface my statement now, because I am a fake nerd. But yeah, Broadway singers are great, really good. And there's an amazing vocalist and vocal coach by the name of Natalie Weiss who covered this song for Kelly for the Kelly Clarkson like Broadway covers.
Yeah.
So she and a bunch of other people did it, but it was really fun because I was like, oh, I know that name, and it was Broadway. I was like, oh, I like Broadway, or like I pretend to like Broadway. Let's take a look at it. She sounds good, and there's a top note in the song, the G, and she hits it live, which is nice because again, Kelly sings her face off almost on every single song. And then when she tours, she sings her face off on
Mm.
every single song. So if she lowers notes or she doesn't hit the notes, it's understandable, right? So when you do hear it's like, oh yeah, that sounds really good. It sounds like the record. Good on you for attempting that because Kelly does it and she kills it, but she knows better than to do it every night, right? So
Mm-hmm.
again, the song is definitely tough to sing, and with the energy behind it, much like the other tracks on the album, it could be easy to lose focus on the technique. But of course, when Kelly performs it, she is focused, she's engaged, and she maintains these notes. She will give you notes, she will give you performance. And I think a lot of people don't realize that even though you can hit a note, you can just I guess sing to the audience, the performance is what matters as well.
Mm.
She is very much, from what I've seen, very good at performance. She doesn't dance. She's not going to give you an 8 count. She doesn't
They've
really
tried to
have a
make her
lot
do
of.
that before. There's some really funny performances from the first era, like of Miss Independent, where they gave her background dances, and they're hilarious. But anyway, sorry, continue.
Oh my god! We'll have to watch that.
Yeah.
Like a CCTV episode when great singers should not be dancing. Like that'd be so much fun. Um, but yeah, like the Sugar Babes. So by the way, make sure you guys definitely check out our Sugar Babes episode because Mutia came to our Instagram and gave us some love on our post about the Sugar Babes Angel with Dirty Face album review. So definitely check that out. But back to Kelly, the lyrics are super relatable for this song. I mean, it's like the one that got away. Granted, my personality leans a little bit more toward like, I don't hate that I let you go. I mean, it happens, it's over. But I can understand how someone could feel that way if that person was good and maybe you weren't the person giving your 100% in the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. You weren't giving what you were supposed to give. You weren't doing what you were supposed to do. You weren't, you know, you were the person was saying, where's your heart? Right. So I can understand that. But yeah, personally, oh dang, he gone, bye. That's just me. And I like the way the song is produced. It reminds me of How Soon Is Now by the Smiths. Again,
Mm.
back to Charmed. The guitar with the amp, that when they strum it, the
Yeah.
like the echo.
That like riff, yeah.
Thank you. Very echo. Thank you so much. The echoey guitars just reminds me of that song. Again, reminds me of Charmed, and I can hear it being played. And also, just slightly, the chorus just reminds me a little bit of Alanis Morissette. Just not
Yeah.
exact match, people. But again, I love to hear the influence that Kelly and her songwriters have. But
Hmm.
then Kelly, because she sings her dang face off, does not get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
So that's me on my soapbox. But what about you? How do you feel about this song?
Yeah, this is another one that I remember not thinking too much of at the time of release until I saw her sing it live. So going back to what you said about her
Mm,
performance, she has so much fun performing this song and really
yeah.
brings out the awesomeness of it. I think she has actually said the same thing as well, that she didn't love the lyrics. Kind of similar to what you said, she didn't love the, like, I hate myself for this. 'Cause she didn't love that
Right.
aspect of it, but she liked performing it. So it ended up kind of being a staple in her show during that her whole era. Um,
Whoa.
I do love the latter part of the chorus. I think the way the chorus is structured is really good, but I do love the what do you do when you look in the mirror? Like I love that it pulls
Uh-huh.
back that way. I
Yeah.
think it's cool and it's different from the other songs on the album. And yeah, I think the production actually is quite complex on this. Just some interesting backing vocals, kind of again very
Mm-hmm.
far back in the mix, but they're there and they do add a lot of dynamic. And yeah, just weird kind of synthy sounds and guitar riffs throughout. Um, and yeah,
Right.
that bridge again. She's so good at a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't even know how to that anymore. I can't even do it. I don't even know how to do it.
You
But
will.
like it's insane. That's one of my favorite vocal moments on this whole album.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I will give this one an 8. How about you?
Oh, nice. Okay, I will actually give this one an 8 too. I don't feel like I'm gonna change my mind. I changed my mind on one of the songs on this in this episode, y'all. If y'all can figure it out, I will leave a comment on your comment. But if you The 11th track on this album is Hear Me, written by Kelly Clarkson, Tara Diaguardi, and Cliff Magnus. This song has been described as a prayer, which is
Mhm.
really interesting because I kind of get that vibe from the song as well in a way. It's not an explicit like, Lord, can you hear me? I don't. It's not an explicit kind of like prayer, right? But
Uh-huh.
it's implied, it's implicit. And this song, God, songs like this makes me really just, oh, the song is a rock album, dang it. I know it's pop rock, but if you strip away this woman's vocals and you had some dude singing it, they would not be like, oh, it's a pop rock record. And no, you'd be like, yo, this is a rock record.
Yeah.
The guitars in this song are epic,
Mm.
gritty, and
Mhm.
her vocals absolutely soar. She opens her mouth and I'm like, where is it coming from? Not even trying to be funny, but as young as she was, and I think we have similar builds, like how she was, her how she looked at the time and how we look now, how I look now. We're similar. I don't sing like this. I'm trying to figure out where the voice is coming from. It's not fair. But yes, to be so tiny and to sing like that, I'm like, it's kind of like, yo, is there someone in there with a bullhorn
Mhm.
going, all right, sing. She's amazing. She and Claire from Steps are the
Oh.
ones that make me say, how in the world did this random girl from who knows where come into fame like this and
Mhm.
not receive as much love as I think they deserve? Like,
Yeah.
we all know Kelly can sing, but honestly, I feel like she deserves so freaking much more.
Yeah.
So much more. Like, yeah, we can appreciate them. Yeah, they're staples in our childhoods, but like again, like I said, a lot of people don't cite her as like vocal influences, which is crazy. But again, back to what I was saying about the song feeling like a prayer. The song does remind me of Flyleaf's um All Around Me. So it came out in 2007, and it is, if you don't know Flyleaf, they are more Christian leaning, and All Around Me is about God. She says like, I can feel you all around me. But she doesn't say that explicitly, like, oh God,
Mhm.
whoever, whatever deity you believe, but she
Right,
doesn't
right, right.
say it. And the song is really gritty and it's a rock song, very much like this one. The you is whoever, like the hear me. The energy is very, very palatable. There we go. There we go. Palpable?
Palpable.
Palpable. There we go. The energy is, we're working on it. we're here. The energy is very palpable. And
Hmm.
honestly, the song is really poignant, but it's also badass because of
Yes.
how it's produced, you know? And I always tell people like needing help or reassurance or love is not a weakness, and asking for it is not a weakness. Some people don't receive that well, and they go, "Oh God, you're being too needy." But if you're asking the right person, or if you're in a relationship, or if you're friendship, whatever relationship you're in, telling someone, "Hey, this is what I need," there's no weakness. Or if you're asking a deity, there's nothing wrong with that. And because the song is so just ooh kick ass, it's like she's brave enough to reach out. She's saying,
Hmm.
"Hear me, hear me, hear me." And in the ending, toward the bridge, when she's saying, "Hear me" over and over again, even more powerful. Because it doesn't sound like
Yes.
she's begging; she's just demanding at that point. She's saying it at first sounds a little bit weak, and as the song progresses, you hear more strength behind it. And I respect it. I love that. I think it's great, and we don't really hear songs like that nowadays. Honestly, I don't think so.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that outro's my favorite part. Hear me. That part is so so good.
Yes.
It's so intense, and then she does a last few in her head voice. She's just kind of like she's
Hmm.
just desperate at that point, which is just I think it's really beautifully done. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this song is another great sing along song. Like if you're
Hmm.
ever I don't know, mad about something, sad about something, this is a
Yeah.
perfect song to just like scream to, I guess. Um,
Yes.
and I love that even though it is very dark and haunted, which is kind of a vibe we've had in other songs on this album, it's different. It's more
Mhm.
intense. And
Mhm.
also it's almost prettier too. There's also something very beautiful about it too. So it is just kind of an
Mhm.
interesting dynamic. But yeah, this is another one that I feel like this is just vocally it's just masterclass. Like I
Yeah.
don't know how else to describe it. Like there's very few people in this world that could sing this
Mhm.
song as well as she does.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm saying. I'm
yeah,
confused. How?
it's pretty
20
amazing.
years old,
Hmm.
2021, sitting
Yeah,
there, dynamics,
yeah,
vocal technique,
yeah,
very scary,
yeah.
very scary, but also very good.
Yes. All right. So what do you rate this one?
Um, it's right up there, honestly, because Addicted is a tough one to beat.
Uh huh.
And I think I think I gave it a 10, right? Oh, okay. So I will give it a 9.5 only because um yeah, I'll give it a 9.5 only because I have to listen to it some more because I don't remember it all the way, but I do
Mm,
remember how it made me feel. So I just need
okay.
more time. Yeah,
Okay.
9.5.
I will match you with the 9.5. This album's just so good, but I have I don't know, with all the tens that we already gave, I'm trying to be, as reasonable as I can.
Right.
The last track on the album is the live version of Beautiful Disaster. And this one was done by Matthew Wilder and Rebecca Jordan. And so Kelly actually hated the original version of the track on the first album, Thankful, because she felt that the poppy production didn't capture the emotion of the lyrics, which were written
Mhm.
about a strained relationship due to the other partner suffering from substance dependence.
Mhm.
So when she did perform it on the independent tour, she stripped it back and she decided to include one of these live performances on the Breakaway album. And though this was never released as a single, she did perform the track a few times on television, and the song does remain a signature track in Kelly's discography. So, what do you think
Ooh.
of Beautiful Disaster?
When I first heard this, based on, the lyric and the background that you're telling me now, when I first heard it, not knowing this, I just thought, "Oh, this is somebody essentially making excuses for the shortcomings of someone." And
Mm.
it probably sounds really cruel, but like something about it was like, oh, he's just unambitious and overly optimistic and then hysterical. And for me, that first verse was not very good at like conveying that he's worth it to me or whoever
Uh,
is worth it. And granted, we would want someone to look at us and say, wow, so and so has a lot going on, but you know what? They're worth it. But that first verse did not do it for me. And just personally for me, I don't like being anyone's hurt locker, essentially where they're putting all their pain and their sadness into me and I'm just storing it and be like, oh, I'll keep it safe because it's a lot. And that first verse kind of has that tone. um, it just sounds like a lifetime of caping for someone, especially after the whole "if I try to save him, my whole world would cave in" kind of
mm-hmm.
line. I don't like it. Now, if it were if you're thinking about the Rebecca's past boyfriend being a substance abuser, then it makes more sense. But when you're like thinking about how the original track sounded, all happy and sweet, like, oh, there's a chance, Lifetime Hallmark movie, it does not fit. So when you hear it stripped back, it sounds a little bit better. Um, but yeah, I just don't like the idea of it someone being a beautiful disaster when literally this disaster could destroy you. But
Mm.
after more listens, after more sounds, that's not more sounds. After more listens, it just sounds like maybe the guy isn't the luckiest, or maybe he's not the most successful, but he does love her, does
Yeah.
love, whoever it is, and he does try his best. This person tries. Or maybe I'm just being optimistic at this point. But yeah, it's I'm not into bad boys or fixer uppers, so I did not connect instantly. But yeah, the second verse is definitely more redeemable.
Mm.
But yeah, that original arrangement, that 80s inspired,
Yeah.
what the hell? That's
Yeah, it's
terrible.
pretty bad.
I
It's pretty bad.
almost skipped it. What
I
about
skip
what
it. I
about?
skip it when I listen to the first album.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
think I see what you mean. I think that's interesting. I don't think I've reviewed it that way. I think I did. I think because of how
Mm.
emotional Kelly sounds singing
Uh-huh.
it, more obviously
Hmm.
in this new version,
Right.
um, it does feel like it's someone worth saving, right? It's someone who actually is a good person, but they do have this
Right.
one thing that's kind of taking over their life and isn't good for them, and you want
Hmm.
to save them, right? So yeah, that's interesting how you interpreted it. But yeah, I think as many other artists have said, when you do a song acoustically, that's when you really prove if a song is actually good or not, right?
Yeah.
And so in this case, the choice actually really did elevate the track a lot. You
Hmm.
really do pay attention to lyrics more. And again, I love that her delivery is not over the top, right? If Christina or Jessie J or one of those other kind of pop divas that can also sing their faces off did this
Yeah,
song, you'd be getting these crazy runs everywhere. You'd be getting all these. I don't know. You'd just be getting a lot of extra vocalizations and
for
stuff. But
sure.
Kelly doesn't do that. She keeps it very simple. Just focuses on the main melody and really emoting it. So I love that about her. I always have. And I just think it's a beautiful end to the album and a great way to redeem an old album track.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I kind of disappeared. Sorry. I had to mute myself because I started laughing. It's true. I like that. I like the concept of a redo,
Yeah.
um, especially when it's done like this. So kudos to her for sure. But yes, I'm curious to know what your score is though, because you hold it in high regard, and
I
apparently
do
all
hold
of
it in
the
high regard. Yeah, I
yeah.
think it's really up there. I think, and a lot of people still bring it up to her, like even on her talk show and stuff, as one of the songs that they love from her. And I agree. So I will give it a 9.5. How about you?
I will give it. Oh, y'all about to hate me, but let me preface this by saying, hang on. I'm not into songs that are good but have like an underlying thing of like a little bit of like abuse or like psychological, like Meet Me in the
Mm-hmm.
Middle, like
Uh huh.
broken dishes everywhere, or like those songs like that, and then the chorus is great. I'm not a fan of. I try to remove myself from that, but if I feel the icks, then it's probably Decidual. Sorry, fans. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Oh,
She
that's
sounds
still pretty
great.
good. That's a B.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you. So, Chris, we
Mm-hmm.
have reached the cut and keep section of our review.
Uh
And
huh.
fans who are new here, we keep a song and we cut a song. Whoa! It's not complicated. But if you all would like to join us in this section of the video, definitely let us know your ratings for all the songs, and if you want, what you would cut and what you would keep.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Chris,
Mm-hmm.
which song would you cut?
I would cut "You Found Me." It doesn't come with as a
Oh.
surprise, I think, with what I said about it. But yeah, I just think it is like a filler amongst other hits. Everything else is a hit. Yeah. How about you?
I would probably cut Gone, because when I got to this part of this album, I just thought,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is another breakup song. Like, it just,
Oh,
I,
interesting. It's just
I
redundant.
almost, yeah, exactly. I just thought I want something. Give me something feisty at that point. If you're going to sit there and give me staccato and attitude, give me I'm that girl kind of energy. Which I know she probably wasn't there at that point, but again, it's another breakup song, and this whole album's about a relationship,
Uh
except for
huh.
I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
redundant.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Mhm.
so if you had to keep only one song on this album, what would you keep?
My keep is going to be based on me introducing someone who doesn't really listen to her.
Okay.
but likes the genre of music that is featured on this album. I
Okay.
would keep Addicted for sure. I would keep it because I would love
Okay.
to show some. Because I know I have a couple of friends who'd be like, who who only know like since you've been gone or like
Yeah.
like a walk away, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, fun, she's cute. Of course, because Pitch Perfect as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Addicted. What about you?
Okay, that's a good choice. Yeah, I will go with Hazel Eyes.
Ooh.
That's still one of my absolute favorite Kelly songs ever.
Mhm, mhm.
And yeah, I think it is. It tends to be forgotten amongst like Since You've Been Gone, Breakaway, and Because
Oh
of
my
You. But
God,
Behind These Hazel Eyes
yeah.
is actually my favorite of all the singles on the whole album.
Oh,
So yeah.
snap.
All right. So what are your overall thoughts on this album? Like as a person who wasn't like a huge fan of her at this
Mm,
time, because this really was her peak, I think,
yeah.
like commercially.
Yeah.
So yeah, what did you think listening to this album now?
Yeah, totally. So when I say I'm not a fan of some people I think it in the pejorative where I might like I don't like the person, but me I think true to the word. Like I'm not a fan if I don't know anything except the
Yeah,
singles.
yeah.
Right? So, I
Mhm.
mean, you understand it, but some people might be like, she hates them. Like, no, she hates her. I don't hate her. Um, but yeah, no, considering how many songs I did know, considering how many songs I did like,
Yeah.
uh, I would love to just dive more into her. And I
We
think that
can.
this album we will.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys have any recommendations, definitely, send them my way. I'll
Yeah,
give the
yeah.
album a 9
Okay.
punto. Am I giving it a punto? 9.5. I'll give it a 9.5. I'll give
Okay.
it a 9.
All
Yeah,
right.
I don't think
Awesome.
so.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm very biased. As I said, she's one of my absolute favorite artists of all time, and I've seen her live countless times. So I personally think this is one of the best pop albums of all time. It's cohesive, but every song does
Mhm.
stand on its own, and she
Mhm.
just sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
There are very few no skip albums in the pop
Mm.
world, and I think this is one of them. So I have to give it a 10 out of 10. Sorry. I'm a Kelly Clark stan. Sorry.
For the for those listening, he gave me a nice little head jerk with this Kelly
little,
Clarkson.
some neck there. Yeah. So, what would you like to hear next from Kelly? I think for me, obviously, I know her back catalog super well, and she's already kind of gone through very different sounds. I think a lot of people are
Yeah.
excited about the new album because she did just get divorced. She's kind of just gone through a
Oh.
lot in her life these past few years, and so
Oh.
people are very excited to hear what she's come up with. What she's
Yes.
been inspired by. I
Yes.
do love the kind of old school soul vibe that she did
Mm.
for the last album, and I would not mind more of that. But I also wouldn't mind a return to the pop rock thing either, because that is coming back, right? So a
Yes.
return to the guitars and rock Kelly would be great as well. But what would you like to hear from her?
Dude, you read my mind. I was thinking about how I came back into her. I was at work at Dave and Buster's a couple years ago, and Love So Soft played, and I was like,
Yes.
"What? Who is that?" And I heard the voice, and I'm like, she got some soul in her. I had to look because the monitor is behind my head at the bar, and I looked, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Kelly."
Yes.
And I thought, holy crap. And that song actually has a little bit of trap drums in it, but nothing too crazy where it's like off brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to what you were saying. I would like to hear something like that because she has the chops for it. She does a little bit of a rock thing. She can do that as well. But yeah, I would like to hear a little bit more of a soul, painful kind of, not painful, well, soulful kind of track. The rock stuff, I wonder how she would deliver it because now the sound is coming back, it's almost like a kid's game because so many people are doing it. And the people who originally were doing like an Avril or something, a lot of the older fans are appreciating, but I'm not sure if the younger people are like being as receptive and giving the people
Uh,
the flowers that they deserve. Because even when I think about her vocals and the songs that she has had throughout the
yeah.
years, no offense to Adele. Adele can sing, but Adele sings kind of like the same, very much. I'm sad. I broke up with this man. Kelly does that, but she's been able to freaking change the sound. And then even
Yes.
she's not talking about a breakup, she gives you like a whole lot of woman. That's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
Love So Soft. She gives it to you, and I'm still trying to figure out. Again, I could just be under a rock not realizing it, why she's not getting regarded as like, oh yeah, she's that balladeer, she's that da da
Yeah.
da, as Adele is getting, or as like someone else. I don't know how to
Yeah.
describe it,
I think that talk
but
show
yeah,
helps. I think all these covers
yes,
that go viral once in a while definitely helps.
Yeah.
But I agree, there's something that a lot of people in the general public tend to forget her. And yeah,
It's
disregard
weird.
her ability, or even just aren't aware of her ability, I guess. So
There we go.
yeah,
That's the
I
word.
mean, with the talk show getting bigger and bigger, I
Yeah.
do hope that more people recognize it. It does feel like she's had a resurgence in her popularity overall, and she's been able to do that without releasing much new music. So it'll be interesting to see how the next album does. But she's divorced finally, yay! So hopefully she can finally kind of get a move on with kind of the more business things that she was planning. But anyway, let us know what you all think about the Breakaway album. Thank you so much for listening to our episode. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or message us at CCTV Pops on all social media. You can also join us on Patreon, where you can help us decide our next episode topics and get access to exclusive content from our show you can't get anywhere else, including some bloopers from today's episode. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. And for our listeners, please give us a rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. Until next time, that's Jan.
That's Chris.
And we are CCTV.